Project Sapient is a podcast meant to engage our brothers and sisters in the law enforcement and military communities in conversations that we all know we need to have. All opinions you'll hear are our own, are protected by our First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and in no way reflect or are meant to reflect the opinion of any specific agency, officer, or service member. Some opinions may be controversial. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy. Hi, Ayman.
Hello, hello.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, what's up?
How's your day going?
Dude, I don't know what's in the water.
We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
The fucking EDPs galore, right?
Dude, oh my God, yeah. It's skyrocketing.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've had probably the last 3-4 nights, probably 10 EDPs.
Oh, yeah. No, we've been like,
This is
what did I
bullshit.
call today? EDP Monday.
EDP Monday, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what today was.
Guys, Project Sapient, thank you everybody for listening. Our numbers are growing. I think we're over 5,000 or 6,000 now.
Yes, we are. Dude, France is like our biggest international.
I saw that the other day and I was like, what the fuck is going on with France? Thanks, France.
Thank you, France.
I guess we're making some changes there, right?
Yeah.
But guys, first of all, HavokJournal.com, GymJunkies.com, VectorShields.com, LiveBoston617.org, and WellnessForWarriors.live. We love you guys. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Project Sapient. It's nice and easy. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes, and
fucking
also,
everywhere.
Havok Journal started their podcast also called The Weekly Havok. Check it out. I was on there. We were talking about all sorts of silly stuff.
What's it called?
The Weekly Havok. So check it out, guys. It's an awesome, fun podcast.
Cool. We're funner. Just so you know. FYI. Hey, it's our show. Come on.
Yeah.
So what are we doing, man?
All right. Well, we talked about it last episode that we were talking about radical extremists and how politicians, and you started into it. And I said, wait
till next week.
I have an article on that.
Oh, by the way, the last week's episode, I don't know if you guys saw it. I fucked it up for somehow. It only uploaded 45 minutes. I put the last part on YouTube, guys, so sorry about that. But
okay, that's 2 hours sleep, Pete.
I'm on 3 today, so I'm fucking fine. Look at me. I'm fine. I'm fine. So,
all right. So this one I wrote November 4, 2020 happens to be the election.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. No shit. Oh, boy. Politicians are the new radical extremists. Yes. I love this topic. You know me.
Oh, yeah.
I love this topic.
Yep. So I'm going to get into why I think that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we usually do, I'll go through my article and we'll talk a little more. So as you those who constantly listen to the show know that I was born in Monrovia, Liberia back in 81. Parents fled with my brother and me to Lebanon. Lebanon wasn't any better. They had I have seen extremism in all three major religions in my life. We ended up finding peace in America, and a peace that a majority in the U.S. really take for granted.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, as I do. Greece has its issues. Lebanon is really now having more issues.
Yeah.
My family's still there. So we keep track of that stuff because we have families over there.
We just don't know, man. People don't realize how good we fucking have it here.
No, well,
right?
last episode or the one before where I talked about the Iraqi election and how that was dealt with and how we had to do so much security on that, and it's unbelievable. And the reason why I said now we are faced, I said it right here. I witnessed how it slowly changed though in America over the years. And not for the better, though, for the worse in terms of political extremism. Political extremism. And now we face a different form of extremism, political. Now, this is nothing new to us overseas. Right. We've seen it in our families' respective countries. Right. We've seen it, like I've seen it at war and stuff like that. But what's taking shape here is political extremism. Well,
I see it as like the beginning.
Yeah.
Right, because we've said it, I think, in one of our last episodes where maybe it was the Iraq episode, right? The Iraqi election where you live in a country here where you can go to the ballot box, go to the booth. You don't have an armed guard there or an armed soldier staring at you with a rifle to make sure that you vote for the right fucking person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that happens throughout the world.
Yeah, it does. You're basically told who you're going to vote for.
Oh, you're voting. Congratulations. It's your right. Now, this is who you're voting for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm seeing here is the political side of it is kind of acting the same way.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Both sides.
Even though we know where we stand.
Yeah.
It's kind of acting that way from both sides. So I see what you're talking about here as like the starting point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I go into the article kind of talking about stuff I remember. I was born into war, bred into a conflict zone. I have memories of soldiers getting blown up, artillery raining down on mountainsides. I mean, these are things I'll never forget. I remember running to my mother crying hysterically because some sort of militia came into our village in Lebanon. But then, I fast forward a little. I joined the Army after 1911, like most of us did.
After 1911?
After 9/11, yeah.
You're old.
And our country went to war,
Yeah.
And they asked for us, and we answered the call. It was that simple. I wanted to show that not all people were bad from the Middle East.
Was that in your head?
Yes. Well, that was one of my motivations.
Really?
Yeah. One of my motivations was, one, to serve the United States, and two, to show that not all Middle Easterners are bad. Because there was this huge...
It's a lot to fucking have in your head, man.
Well, dude, you met me, right?
Right.
So I that's one reason, and to also go over there and help the innocent ones, the ones that face that tyranny.
Yep.
They're
living it.
That extremism comes into their villages, kills them, or kidnaps their kids, or whatever. I mean, I just read an article today that U.S. Army Special Forces is going to Africa, in a country in Africa, because Al-Shabaab is kidnapping boys and beheading them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So U.S. Army Special Forces are, as we speak, deploying into Africa to help the locals fight these extremists. So I mean, again, people in the U.S. You
don't realize it.
Don't realize that you don't have these extremists coming into our towns and all that and kidnapping our little kids and beheading them. And it's
in front of you.
In front of you, exactly. And the extremism, though, it's growing and growing, and after I joined the Army, obviously I wanted to show people are not bad radical. The extremists in the community, though, told me of how I joined the enemy within the U.S.
in your community.
In my community.
That's what set me off in your last article when we were talking about that.
Yeah.
And it was like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was told. In reality, I wanted to root out the evil that plagued the land. That these intellectual imams are the extremists and use religion to mask their true desires.
Right.
Because, again, like I told you, most of the Arab world is illiterate. They can't read, they can't write. So they look to religious figures for guidance.
And the religious figures are their intent probably starts fine.
Yeah.
Right? To be the religious figures.
Well, yeah, but then
they get corrupted.
Yeah. It ends up going a different way.
They get corrupted. They start getting paid. They start getting by the local militia leaders and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Well,
again,
ridiculous.
so how bad is extremism? Well, for example, in Lebanon, Al-Qaeda terrorists had spoons in their pockets because they were led to believe that if they died during combat, they would dine with the Prophet. That was real. That's true. That was something I was like, I had to do a double take.
I almost just used a word that will get me in a lot of trouble.
Well, yeah. Well,
they had spoons in their pockets.
Yeah.
Because they believed that when they fucking blew themselves.
That's what they were told by these religious figures.
The figures were telling them that.
Yeah. So it was, if you remember, it was like maybe 2008, 2009 in Lebanon. There was a huge battle between the Lebanese army and Al-Qaeda trying to take over the Palestinian camps.
I vaguely remember it.
So that's where that intel came from. They found spoons in the pockets.
Just imagine that, right? Imagine you're the leader,
and
you're like, I need to control these people a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them that you can put a spoon in your pocket.
Yep.
Because you're going to dine with God.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. And the fact that people actually believed it.
But again, the uneducated, right?
It just shows you.
The illiterate, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's something we always say. They don't know what they don't know. I mean, just... simply putting the spoon in your pocket. I have a friend that during the invasion of Iraq, they were at a village, actually shortly after, they were at an Iraqi village talking to some of the the mayors or village leaders, if you want to call them, they he was wearing his big goggles, for the sand and all that. Yeah. The Iraqis started yelling and screaming about him wearing it. Why? So the interpreter had to tell the soldiers, hey, so they believe that those are basically X-ray vision, and you're able to look at the women naked through their clothes. That's what they were led to believe.
This is who held off the fucking greatest armed forces on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective. I'm not dogging it. Yeah. Right? But put that in perspective.
Yeah.
These fucking guys held us off. They held the Russians off for how long?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Think about that.
What
the fuck?
Well, here's the thing. So what they did is they took off the goggles and gave them to the village elders.
Try them out.
Like, put them on. That's not what happened. So they put them on, and they're like, oh, okay.
I'm surprised they weren't like, these aren't infidel eyes. We can't see what you see.
No. So that was quickly resolved. But again, it shows you, though, the extremism, right? So I always go back to, how does it relate to politics? How does it tie into politics?
Yeah.
The common theme I hear now in politics is fear-based. That's it. Both sides of the aisle.
Fear sells.
All of a sudden, politicians are the new priests or the new imams, whatever you want to call them, and what they say is fact. People have stopped questioning politician motives behind any claim they spout. I mean,
right.
Again, we talked about it early on the episodes about critical thinking, this thing called critical thinking.
You can actually sit down and think about something, research it on your own, have a conversation with a friend about it, argue about it.
Exactly.
Come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But these days, when people argue, even you could be best friends, all of a sudden they're no longer friends, and I hate you, and it's no longer that, well, I can agree to disagree, and we're still friends, and we're going to go have a beer and whatever.
I have people that, you're right, I have people that during the whole George Floyd fucking shit, right, we disagreed on certain things.
Yeah.
And we're talking like close people.
Mm-hmm.
We disagreed on certain things, and instead of being like, hey, I'll see you later or whatever, they were like, oh, suddenly I'm not your friend on Facebook.
Yep.
You're not responding to my texts.
Yep.
Now I'm blocked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Because I have a certain belief.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what your belief may be.
Yeah.
Right? Short of you wanting to, like, hurt kids or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
We can still sit here and have a beer.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing.
It's not going to change how I think about you.
Exactly. And after 1911, people looked to their elected leaders. Again, elected, I'm going to get rid of leaders. They're elected officials. For some closure, guidance, and resolve. I mean, totally understandable, right? Yeah. I mean, it was
you're looking for
horrible
something.
Time in the country, just like Boston Marathon, bombing. Everyone looked to the officials, the police, fire, even soldiers, whatever. Looked to them for like
guidance.
What
do we do?
Reassurance. Yeah. What have you. I mean, we see it all the time, even in simple crime scenes or, whatever. You can tell people need that, hey, these reassurance. Hey, we're going to get them.
I think that's part of the foundational issue of our society today.
Yeah.
In terms of we're too comfortable.
Oh, my God, yeah.
We've become too comfortable. We've become too sensitive as a society, right? Yeah. Like if you look at the Constitution and the framework of everything this country was built on, people in politics aren't supposed to be leaders. We say it all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, the elected officials.
You're an elected representative.
Yeah, of the people.
You work for us, just like me and you are civil servants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They are our servants.
Yeah.
They're supposed to represent us, not impose their fucking will on us because they think they know better.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So when things like 9/11 happened, it's good to have that leadership role, somebody that's going to stand up in the flames.
Yep.
Right? But at the same time, the people need to come together and say, no, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not fall in, because fear is one of those controlling factors, just like religion bases everything on fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Religion bases everything on fear. How do you control a people? You fear.
Yeah, exactly.
You give them a common enemy.
Yeah.
Like, where have you heard this before? You give them a common enemy.
Yeah.
You make them fear something. Right?
It writes itself.
You start controlling their news sources.
Yeah.
Like it's the ultimate form of control.
I think that's why Nazi Germany began.
I don't know. I don't know. Karl Marx.
Millions of people died of a particular religious.
Didn't happen.
Nope. All right.
Go on.
But anyways, so again, I go back. So the political war machine was fueled by the anger of the American public at the time, and rightfully so. So when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, Naval Marshal General Yamamoto said, "I fear all we have done is awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." And I believe the same thing happened after 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
And the American people, no matter what color, creed, religion, wanted one thing: justice. It didn't matter.
They wanted blood.
Well, yeah, justice, blood.
We wanted blood.
Yes, exactly. And there was no stopping it.
Right.
Like, you know what? You woke us up, and now that's it. We're coming after you. And, let's fast forward to current times in the United States. For the past decade or more, politicians have created this fear-based campaign. They'll throw slogans out like, they're going to take our guns.
Right.
Guns fly off the shelves. People stock up on ammo. That's the most common phrase you hear from one side of the aisle or the other. Police murder all black men. That's the other one now. And that's the thing that, now you get bombarded with these quote unquote statistics and so-called quote unquote experts on the media that fan the flame for political extremists. And I always go back to Bernie Sanders and that college.
You're going to get shot in the head.
Yeah, you disrespect a police officer, you will get shot in the back of the head. I'm like,
and how many people saw that and they were like, he's so right.
Yeah.
He's so right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, people, you need to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. Start questioning.
Well, that's the thing, man. Yeah. I tell my kids, no matter how you grow up, whatever side you grow up politically, right? Because we all have our sides.
Yeah.
I'm going to back you up.
Yep.
As long as it's what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not what somebody else is fucking telling you to believe.
Yeah. Have your own opinion.
Yeah. If you're a liberal, great. I will back you up.
Yep.
If you're a conservative, great, even better. I will back you up. Yep. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't fall into, I call all this, everything you're talking about, I don't mean to minimize it, but I call it a Pepsi commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody falls into the fucking Pepsi commercial trap.
Exactly. Or the other thing I call is first world problems.
First world, yeah, exactly.
that this is all this is. This is just people burying their head in the sand, and they're like, everything's okay, everything's fine, and let's just keep going.
But like you mentioned, they're going to take our guns.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it that's a slogan used by the media and politicians to get followers and whatnot and sell airtime.
Yeah.
Right. But we should think about that.
Oh, yeah, no.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with thinking about it, but when you use it as your political drive to instill fear, and to cause, let's say at police departments, license to carry is all of a sudden triple, the application because, oh, my God, he said they're coming, or she said they're coming for our guns.
Yeah.
I'm going to get everything I can,
and now you can't buy ammo.
And that sucks because I want ammo.
Right.
Because I can't get it now.
But like we keep talking about this. And the thing that comes into my head is that people in this country, I love this country, people in this country are sold on emotion.
Yes.
People in the other countries who have been through the shit.
Yeah.
Who have sat at a polling station with an armed fucking soldier staring at them.
Yeah.
That's their reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have it really fucking well here.
Well, we have a false sense of reality over here.
Instagram living, baby.
Oh, my God, yeah. All the filters and this, that, the other. And, yeah, exactly.
Scrolling fucking life.
Exactly. And you got to look at, you got to look great and this, that, the other. And it's like, again, when I first came home back in 2006, when I first came home, MySpace was just starting. And I'm like, what the fuck is a MySpace? My sister was telling me all about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is a MySpace? So that's kind of like when it started. And man, people, obviously great social networking and great, get to know people, whatever. I have no problem with these types of newer technologies that come out to help humans connect on a different level.
But the free ones, right? Yeah. Especially that was one of the things people didn't realize about Facebook.
Yeah.
Was why is it so free? Why is it free? Why is it free?
Yeah.
Because they're selling the shit out of everything you're fucking doing.
Well, look at the ads. look at
what I've done with ads.
Yeah. Look at how now all the stuff that's coming out is you got to turn off the microphones to this, turn off the microphone to that, because they're tracking what you say.
Oh yeah.
So if you say, oh, I want a meatball sub, all of a sudden you're
getting ads for meatball subs.
Yeah. You get an ad from Subway for a foot long, and you're like, you know what? That looks great.
I started Facebook advertising 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I read it in the terms and conditions that they listened to the spoken word.
Yeah.
It was there in black and white. It's the spoken word. And when I would tell people about it, they were like,
well, that's the thing.
You're crazy.
People don't read. They don't read those things. Like I read the Apple's terms and conditions, 500,000 pages, but you know what? I'll read it. But there's shit in there. They tell you what they're going to do.
They're doing it. They're telling you you're doing it.
And people
you're
get
willfully
surprised.
signing up for it.
Exactly. And people get surprised like, oh, Facebook never notified anybody. Yeah, no, it's on page 47 of 50, but you didn't read.
Yeah.
You didn't
and
read
all
what you
that
were
the
signing up for.
politicians are doing, they're using these platforms to just engage your emotion a little bit more.
Exactly.
The Bernie Sanders quote that you talked about,
Yeah.
right? When he said it to the people in that crowd, the people were there to support him.
Oh, yeah.
He could have said that the sky was fucking purple, and everybody would have been like, "Yeah, sky's purple."
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So all they're doing is they're I forget the scientific term for it, right? They're building themselves up to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me, you know, take our guns, police murder black man. It is no different from when I was at war. I remember sitting in a courtyard outside of Mosul, I think in barracks, and I was listening to an evening prayer at a local mosque and it was just down the street. And I remember a sheikh or imam or whoever this religious figure was speaking to the worshipers. He kept referring to the evil that plagued the land, meaning the U.S. forces. Exactly. And those that conspire with American forces and how they need to banish this evil in the name of God at whatever the cost.
In the name of God.
It was their duty, you know, to do it. That's what he would tell them. It's your duty to do it. The conspirators he was talking about were interpreters who aided U.S. forces to combat the radicals. So this is so-called an intelligent religious figure who's preaching death to his followers. He may not say it 100%, because he knows he's on microphone, but you can tell by the tone.
Of course.
You know, and they know that, you know, U.S. forces are listening, so they will sometimes be careful on what they say, but you know exactly what they're implying.
Exactly, dude. And they're betting on the fact that you don't know what some of their terminology may mean or their customary things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it really pisses me off because the other side of why this pisses me off is that we think as a society we're really fucking smart. And I say it all the time, and myself included. I'm not dogging anybody. We're not very smart.
No.
We really aren't. We ride on fucking roads that are paved of stone, dude.
Yeah, I know.
We have shiny stuff, yes, but that's about it. We haven't progressed.
Well, if you go down to a biological, like an actual animalistic thing, haven't really.
We're animals.
We're animals. We've evolved from Neanderthals over and over the years, and we're still evolving. But in terms of evolving socially or whatever, we're still the same.
We're still exactly the same as we were.
We're still tribal.
2,000 years ago.
We're still tribal.
Yep.
We're still, you know, the hunters and gatherers that still you can tell, you can see it.
And we just hunt for things a little differently.
Yeah. We still have the predators. We have prey. It's like, yes, we are animals in the end. So, you know, so to me, political extremism is just as dangerous as religious extremism. They both feed the people fear. You know, they both use extreme measures to get their point across. Just because religious extremism is more direct doesn't mean that political extremism isn't as dangerous.
Yeah,
political extremism took years to infiltrate society.
It was just slower.
Just took its time. You know, strategy, placing the right political figures in the right spots. Look at what we have now.
A mess.
Yeah.
We have a fucking mess.
An absolute mess. And it is unbelievable on how blind people were to the slow, methodical movements that were going on.
I'm going to take it a step further. They might have been blind to it.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Inside, they wanted it. Inside, they wanted to be told. People like to be told what to do.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'll put it this way, too. Why are dictators so powerful in their other countries? Yes, fear-based and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? They take all the decision-making out of their people.
Exactly.
And they'll do it themselves.
It's the same thing in marketing. You're reducing friction.
Yeah.
Right? Marketing 101. Reduce friction as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're reducing friction, which is what Facebook did, which is what Instagram did, right? You're reducing the friction to the customer, to the point of sale, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You're selling your people.
That's all it is. Yeah.
So the people that want to be sold, break it down fundamentally.
Yeah.
Do we need Oreos? No. But we see the commercial.
Yeah.
Think about how smart we are, right? We see the commercial and, oh my God, they're smiling. Find a commercial that they're not fucking smiling.
I know.
And then suckers like you and I will be like, oh, let's go get a box of fucking Oreos.
Yeah. Well, that's the fat kid in me talking.
But still.
Yeah,
but
no, I got you.
In anything we do.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I got you.
And it falls, not to get too philosophical, but it is tied into politics.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, we'll take another step. Like, let's see a brand new shiny gun. I'm like, oh my God, that thing is beautiful. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Even though I have an arsenal, I don't need another gun.
Right.
Like, it's like, no. Well, ATF, it's not an arsenal.
You'll never get me.
Guns. No. You will not take my guns.
I lost all of mine. They're all gone. They fell off a boat in the Atlantic Ocean. So everything is gone. I don't have ammo either.
Yeah. Moving on before we continue.
White phosphorus.
So this leads to another article, actually. So we're going to get into the next article I wrote about the radicalization trap.
Yes.
And this is something that I witnessed personally. And this is going to be more towards the religious extremism, not so much the political.
I still think they're the same thing.
Oh, no, I agree with you. So I wrote this June 26th of 2020 called the Radicalization Trap. If you ain't Muslim, you deserve to die.
This was before the other article?
Yeah, this was before.
We should have done it the other way around.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good. All right, so it was a early 2000, but this was before September 11th. Maybe it was 2000, maybe 1999, just somewhere in there. Yep. I sat inside a mosque at Friday prayer, after Friday prayer, and I think I told you before, Friday is like our Sunday.
Sundays, yeah.
You know, so I decided to hang out in the common area. There's several chairs, tables. I mean, they had like the fun room and whatever else downstairs. So it was noisy from various conversations going on, and all sorts of people, from religious scholars to regular worshipers, just hanging out. My attention was drawn to a conversation next to me, and I heard this. If you ain't Muslim, you deserve to die.
Like just out in the open.
Out in the open. Two men were arguing. One dressed in traditional Middle Eastern attire. He had a bushy beard, and let's call him Mr. Radical. I don't exactly remember his name, but I'll call him Mr. Radical. He was very passionate about the subject being discussed. And the other guy said, no, brother, that isn't right.
So there's discussion.
No, there's discussion. So you're telling me it doesn't matter your race, gender, and Mr. Radical quickly cut him off and said, I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, purple, green. If you ain't Muslim, you deserve to die. And, of course, this went against everything that I learned about Islam and the teaching of peace and love and all that stuff.
So who radicalized him?
This was an older gentleman, I believe, was radicalizing the younger.
Before he came here.
That was because he was older. He was older. He must have been in his 50s. You know, he was older. So I ended up leaving. I told my parents what I heard. They just brushed it off that Mr. Radical was a crazy guy and not to worry about it. I was like, yeah, no. And this was, pre 9/11.
Right.
I just graduated high school, started college. So yeah, this was basically in 1999. My mind was focused on partying girls and more partying. And I just brushed it off myself too. I was like, all right, well, if you're not worried.
Whatever. Dude. Right.
So this next, actually, let's put up his picture. There he is. And his name was Ahmed Abu Samra. And he was actually a good friend of mine. Me and him hung out a lot back in high school.
And you had no idea.
And he got radicalized. Here's the thing. It's not that I had no idea. I started to see the change, right?
Oh, you saw the transition.
I saw the transition.
Oh.
So he went from, this sophomore, junior year of high school. He went from this, wild, crazy, we would have fun, play airsoft, like do whatever.
Right.
Kids being kids, having fun, up to no good, breaking mailboxes. I mean, stuff.
Admitting to fucking felonies.
Listen, I think statute of limitation is good right now. So, I became really good friends, and my parents were friends with his parents, and his father was a respectable doctor. He was a funny kid. He was smart, and he was a good friend of mine.
I'm going to take his picture off if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
So slowly through the years, I started to see a change, though, in him, and changes in some of the other guys that I used to know over there. And
so it was bleeding out.
So I had a few other friends would go to the mosque every Friday for prayer. My parents would drop me off so I can hang out with them. So he started to dress all of a sudden in traditional Islamic attire. Now, is that wrong? No. So, yeah, if that's all him, that's all he wants to do, go right ahead. But he became more vocal towards non-Muslims. Someone at the mosque got to him, and you could feel it. You could tell.
So do you know what sent him over the edge or no?
I believe it was people in that mosque that
just chirping in his ear.
Yeah, infiltrated the Friday prayers and just started spewing this shit and got to him and got to some of the others.
They know human behavior, right?
Oh, yeah.
They know that it's going to take a while.
Here's the thing. I mean, yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. I nearly equate it as like a child predator, right? Who
slowly building trust.
Slowly grooming, slowly building trust to the point where, bam, then they got him.
They know their hooks.
Exactly.
Right?
They know what to say. They know
it's not their first time saying, hey, you want some candy?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way I.
But if you're a child predator, I'm fucking coming for you, FYI.
Yeah.
Go on.
So,
sorry, I hate how I feel about that.
Yeah, we all got that. Speaking of statute of limitations, so
it's a threat. I am threatening child predators directly.
Yeah. Hey, by all means, brother. As the years went by. I lost contact with him and some of the other guys from the mosque. I mean, we just grew up and whatever. I learned that, though, he went to Afghanistan to try to join the Taliban. He attempted to conduct a terrorist operation in the U.S. He tried targeting a mall, but was unsuccessful. Oh, yeah. Eventually, the FBI he was eventually charged by FBI on federal terrorism charges. And at the time, that's when I became a cop. And, combat veteran, I was on the other side of the law, so to speak, right? So he was on one side, I was on the other.
Sure.
So all it took was for him, but, so we had similar upbringings, but took different paths. All it took was for him to go down his path and speaking to the wrong person.
I was just going to say, the only difference, I'm not saying that you would have been radicalized, but the difference was they got to him.
Thing is, though, also with me, I was a lot more critical and a lot more of the rebel type.
Well, they knew that you couldn't be targeted.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I would question a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, that was my nature.
So they knew, let's leave this one alone.
Yeah.
We can't do anything with him.
No. Yeah, let's go to this guy. This guy seemed to be, again, predators know. They know who they can get to.
They're casing everything.
They're casing everything. They saw me. Now I say I never knew what they looked like because I had no idea. Again, I was in high school, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I see older people. I'm like, ew, you're old. I don't want to talk to you, So
people our age now.
Now, yeah, exactly. Now people look at me and they're like, ew, I don't want to talk to you, let alone I'm a cop.
Right.
So someone got to him. Someone in that mosque got to him. And like I said, these predators know who to go to. And it's fascinating to me that they can navigate that. But again, it doesn't surprise me because that's all they do.
Because you think that you give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, at the time. Now I hate everybody. So Equally, exactly. Now I don't give benefit of doubt to no one.
Right.
Oh, pizza man, fuck you.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Give me that pizza. I know you did something to it. So it's like
you open your door with your pistol behind your back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Fucking
just in case. Hey, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Lowry fucking showing up with his friggin' gun.
Mike Lowry.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, that person poisoned. So going back to talk about Ahmed, that person poisoned his mind. Mm-hmm. In some, in some of my early articles, I described how people are not born with a moral compass. They need to be told what to do. Ahmed was one of those.
Yeah.
He needed to be told. He didn't have that moral. He came from a great family. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The dad and mom, obviously, they cut him off, and really good people. He was dad was a respectable doctor. Mom was the nicest lady in the world. But someone got to him and made him change into who he was. So they need to be told, and they need to be told to follow the 10 Commandments or whatever in their religion is equivalent. And I'm not one of those. I was never swayed by the media. I was never swayed by social media memes. These days especially talking heads on the news or religious figures. Never. I'm like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Everyone.
And I could, you could do it. I could do it. We can see a fucking weasel as soon as they show up.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can see it a mile away. Yep. Like I could look at him and be like, dude, fuck you. I'm not talking to you. Like, see you later, you know? And being in this job as a cop, as an investigator, you see it a lot more. You know, obviously it's the smaller percentage of people we deal with, but it's what we see though.
Right.
You know, we can tell the weasel, we can tell the jackal, we can tell, you know, the predator, you know, we can tell, we can see it a mile away. And he, though, could not. You know, he wasn't, I guess, had that aptitude or that ability to sense that somebody was getting
maybe there was something in him that wanted it, Ayman.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was lacking something in his life?
Well, here's the thing, right? So we're all high school. We're getting into college. We're doing our thing. And we are in that. And these predators know it, right?
Yeah.
We are in that critical stage of our lives that we're trying to figure out what we want to do.
Right.
Right. And that's the perfect time. Why are most, you know, terrorists or freedom fighters, whatever you want to call them, why are they early 20s?
Because they can be manipulated.
Exactly. You know, so it's very critical in that age that they get to you.
Yeah.
Especially one that is really, oh, whatever, I don't know what I'm doing. Something's wrong, and I can't tell what's wrong, and, you know, they get to you.
It's manipulation 101.
Oh, big time.
It's, you know what I mean?
Big time. And that goes back to our earlier discussion of how politicians and new extremists. Oh yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job
manipulating the entire public.
Exactly, creating scapegoats, slogans,
false narratives, completely false narratives at some point.
Yeah, right? and the false narratives are so false to us critical thinkers. We're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't believe half of them.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I see some of this shit and I look into it. I research it. You know what I mean?
You research, but majority don't. They'll trust a meme of frickin' I don't know, Ron Burgundy, and he says they're taking our guns, and they'll be like, oh my God, they're taking our guns. You know, there's no real. Here's the thing, like for example, like you know, the new laws that come out, right, for us, or case law that comes out for us. We read, we look at it, that way we understand it, all that stuff. Majority of people have no fucking clue what laws are out there.
They don't.
Jesus. And what's funny, it's all public record. You can go on any you know, like Mass General Law or New York General Law, whatever, any website, and look up. See, there's no secret.
It never ceases to amaze me, dude. I think I was saying it to you before. Like, you have in your hand the entire knowledge of the entire human race.
Yeah.
Right here.
Exactly.
And you'd rather go to Instagram.
Yeah.
To check out some fake fucking pictures.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, that's the thing. Like, I think when we had John Sheft on, phenomenal guy, and I said I downloaded his books right into my phone. Yeah. Because you know what? Oh, it's a quick flip on my phone, and I get the law that I need and the case law behind it and everything, and it's all there. You know?
Imagine what you had to do fucking 10 years ago.
Dude, 10 years ago, we literally had the Mass General Law book.
Right.
You know, and
it was outdated.
And it was it was outdated. You know, so you know, somebody like Sheft, he made it easier for us to be able to do our jobs. But going back to this, somebody like him, like the population, like in Iraq, they believed a lot because they needed someone to believe in. They needed something to believe in.
They needed hope.
They needed hope, exactly. And no matter how extreme it was, I mean, look at Hitler with Nazi Germany. How did he give people hope?
Well, he gave them a common enemy.
Exactly.
The Jews.
Exactly.
He gave them something to fear.
Exactly.
He controlled their media.
Yep.
Again, we're going back to where do you see this before?
The brown shirts, you know.
The brown shirts.
Exactly. But he and then the Nazi kids, I forgot what they were called, where he basically made a school for kids that it
was from birth.
Yeah, from birth, whatever that school was called, you know, to be the what do you call supreme?
The new Nazi race.
Yeah, new Nazi race, exactly. So he was programming them.
That's exactly what it is.
And this is what I see happening now here, the programming.
Yeah.
They get you from like your high school age. I mean, here's the thing: middle schoolers, they're like whatever, you know. Elementary school kids, even further from anything. But you know, as middle school kids grow up and they start seeing their realities and they start seeing all these slogans, and as they grow up and the parents are also throwing these memes around and these Instagram things of like, look, son, see, I told you.
Told you he's a bad man or whatever.
He's a bad man. Right. And you're like, all right, what do you base that off of?
We said it, I think it was during the pandemic episode that we did, right? Like if I wanted to keep my kids in a basement for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I could have taught them that there's this Ebola pandemic out there and this is reality, and they would have grown up that way.
Actually, I'm seeing it now with DCF and with certain families that refuse to allow their kids any sort of education and all that because
they're brainwashing them.
Exactly. The parents know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
The parents are fucking scumbags,
yeah.
and they're telling their kids that the world's no longer safe. You have to stay home, and now the child is being neglected because that's exactly what the parents wanted.
I think so. You're right, and I think there's more to their scumbags.
Oh yeah.
I think this cycle hasn't been broken with them.
Yeah.
They grew up the same way.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's the thing. It's generational.
It's generational. The cycle continues.
I saw it in Iraq when I would go into the village to do these goodwill missions and give food and stuff like that. I talk to these young kids, right, just to kind of gauge where they're at, and you know, depending on which side you're on, whether it's Shiite, Sunni, whatever, they hated each other. And I'd ask them why.
Just because.
Just because. They had no idea. They were kids. But that's the way their parents grew up, and that's the way their grandparents grew up, great-grandparents, generational.
Yeah.
Of just and what's funny is if there was a time machine, you can go back to when that tribe had its first beef. It could be over like a camel that got killed. And all of a sudden it morphed into this massive feud.
Right.
That turned bloody.
10,000 people are fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, so sometimes I just want to be like, all right, but why do you hate them? What? And there was never an answer.
Because Uncle fucking Hobby 10,000 years ago took his fucking goat.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so
this is where we are as society.
Well, as a society now, this is what's going on.
Right.
You know, it's sad and it's disgusting. As we said before, as advanced as humans are, quote unquote, we are still primitive.
We are very primitive. We're fucking primal, dude.
Yeah.
Look at people's behaviors.
Oh yeah. Savages.
On the street as cops. Savages.
They do shit to each other that you're like, what?
What the fuck did you? Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell did I just walk into?
I'm hopeful that we are progressing, right? But I don't foresee it.
2020 set us back 20 years, I think.
I think
maybe longer.
30, 40.
Yeah, maybe longer.
Yep.
You know, because it's like you see it now where now that things are starting to open back up a little and blah, blah, blah. People don't know what to do anymore, and they're lashing out. It's unbelievable to me. I'm like,
I know.
There's fights, EDPs, emotionally disturbed person, all of a sudden skyrocketed. Mental health is freaking
through the roof.
Domestics through the roof. Suicides through the roof. Drug use
overdoses.
And overdoses through the roof. Even worse than it was.
Yeah. Because
of all this.
But we're that smart.
Exactly.
We can't handle it.
Exactly.
We can't handle, again, I say it, I hate like minimizing it, but this was I called it the cul-de-sac pandemic.
Yeah.
Like we were stuck in the house and we had Oreos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how many?
It's so bad.
Yeah. You know.
No, it's not.
No. I mean, again, Lebanon, right? I go back to where my family's from, Lebanon. Now, in order to buy a sandwich, it is $10, which doesn't seem much to us.
Right.
Over there,
it's like a month's pay.
Fucking a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it in perspective. At the time in 2003, if you made $500 a month, you're rich.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's probably around the same now.
It's probably, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So a $10 freaking sandwich, that's way too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, my sister told me how this guy looking for food for his kids because the economy became so bad over there. And this is very recent. This is last year or the year before. The guy gave him 2 chickens, rotisserie chickens, on the house because, again,
holy shit,
and the chicken was $5. In reality, it wasn't that expensive.
Right.
To us, it's not that expensive. Yeah. Now, can you imagine? Now, flip that, bring it over here. People here will lose their minds.
Oh my God! Yeah.
They lost their minds over toilet paper.
Right. They lost their minds over fucking everything.
Yeah. Toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And us as cops, we laughed so hard because we're like, what the?
Well, you kind of knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. and you're like, really? Toilet paper?
People are about to lose their shit.
Yeah.
In a sense, we're lucky that it didn't, like the twig didn't break.
Society didn't break down completely.
Like the twig was like stretching.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
No,
people were at
flexing.
the brink.
Yeah.
People were at the brink. And they're still at the brink.
Oh, yeah.
They're still there. And you can see it and you can feel it out on the streets. We do.
That's why, like, I tell people all the time, right? We're talking about Rona. We're talking about the politicians, the last election, this and that, right? Life is going to go on.
Yes.
No matter what these politicians are fucking telling you,
Yeah.
no matter what the media and the experts are telling you, good job, experts. You got it all fucking right.
Yeah.
Experts.
Yeah, quote unquote.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter what, it wasn't the Ebola fucking plague. It wasn't people flopping on the fucking streets.
No.
When, as much as I loved President Trump, when he didn't get elected, I wasn't like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Life moves on.
Life moves on. And that's the beauty that we have in this country, that I realize that I don't need a politician to fucking tell me that.
No.
I don't need an imam to tell me that.
No.
Or my priest to tell me that.
Some other countries, you get the elections, all out war.
Just because of the election. All out war.
All out war.
Doesn't matter.
No.
So that's what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need to realize how fucking good we have it.
Yeah.
Because if we don't realize how good we have it, it is going to turn into that.
Oh yeah, no, it is, and that's the thing. You know, I know us as cops sometimes we think the worst because that's the way we just are. Because
of course,
you know, worst case scenario, but it's like there. You know, it's there and it's not there, but you can feel it, you can see it.
I mean, in the 1700s, when the colonists were here, 3% of them thought the worst.
Yeah,
3% of them thought the worst and decided to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
No, we're not bending the knee to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we're not paying your taxes.
Yeah.
And we're going to set up a system that is an amazing system. And I feel that because of the politics, because of everything that we're talking about here, all the politicization, extremism, all that stuff, it's being taken away from us.
Oh yeah.
Think about it. The no guns thing that you were talking about earlier, right? Somebody made that. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. Yeah. But what's true right now to this day is that you can't buy ammo.
Yeah. Oh, because of that
slogan. So whether it's true or not, we can't buy ammo.
Well, no one looked into it. No one really looked into it. You know, are they really taking our guns? Oh, no, I'm not going to even look. Let's go.
So are we being treated as the Nazi youth?
Oh, absolutely.
When you think about it, you are.
You're being fed the information. You're not critically thinking about it.
You're being fed and you're
being told what to do. Yeah, you're swallowing it, and then you're going out to do your thing. I mean, it's unreal.
What can go wrong?
Oh, yeah, exactly. What can go wrong?
So where were you?
Last paragraph. So I go into what ended up happened to my dear friend
Ahmed.
I know. I don't know why you guys say it, like people that don't know how to say Ahmed. You say Ahmed.
Ahmed.
No,
What's wrong?
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Yeah, see, you have a in it.
That's a Greek thing.
Well, a lot of people end up doing it. But anyways,
keep going, asshole.
He had a lisp.
Ahmed.
So he ended up leaving for Syria. He joined ISIS. He became their social media guy. He was the guy that was doing those films.
Those like fiery fucking
he like the people that got lit on fire and all that shit.
Shit.
He was their distributor of those films. And
wow.
Yeah. And his family had obviously cut him off and all that stuff, but he did not have contact with anyone in the U.S. that I know of, and he was eventually killed by an airstrike. They found him. The U.S. Special Forces found him and called an airstrike and killed him.
I love the last fucking sentence there.
Good riddance. You know, like, yeah, you know what, you done fucked up. You know.
Yeah. Wow, he was very powerful when you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Because again, war torn country. You haven't eaten.
Yep.
You haven't fucking bathed.
Yep.
But you got one of these.
Well, I remember back in high school, he was very smart with computers.
Yeah.
Very smart. You know, so it doesn't surprise me that that's what they tapped him for.
I was just going to say the groomers knew that he was fucking really smart, and they said, we can use this kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't just let's give him a fucking rifle overseas.
No, he wasn't a vest wearer to go blow himself up. He was more, he was intelligent to a point, and they used that against him.
Well, I'm glad he died a horrible death.
Oh, yeah, he died a pretty horrible death.
Sounds insensitive, right?
Yeah, well, good riddance.
Dude.
I have no... But, so these two articles, we figured we'd talk about them, especially after last episode. Pete was getting a little fired up and blood pressure was rising.
I do get fired up, man. I mean, how can you not get fired up?
No, I agree. You know, so that's why I said let's do these today because I think they will tie into last week's episode real nicely.
With Iraq and all that?
Yeah, with Iraq and all that.
It does, Ayman. And it's concerning to me because like we're critical thinkers. I could be over-exaggerating things. we're as cops, you're looking at the worst and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I get that. We're a little jaded.
Yeah.
I get that. But if we're not going to be, I would rather live like that than live on my knees.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's good to question. I mean, here's the thing. Our society is built off questioning.
I tell my kids, question me.
Yeah.
I'm a science geek.
Yeah.
They ask me things about science and physics and all that stuff. I tell them, whatever I tell you, question it.
Actually, I tell my son, never question me. Because if I open that door, it's going to get bad.
It won't stop.
It won't stop.
It won't stop. But you know what? Like, I mean, we have to question these things.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
Like, stop being told what to do just because somebody is telling you to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the case, give me all your money.
Yeah.
Because I can do better with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? If I really wanted to, I could come up with some really good fucking marketing to make you believe that.
Well, yeah.
Think about how stupid we are.
Yeah. Well, there was in California, there was a famous study that was done back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, where a professor showed the class how Nazi Germany became Nazis, whatever, and fascism and all that. And the students questioned it. They're like, what? Who the fuck would believe any of that shit, whatever, whatever? What the professor did was, okay, what he assigned them, which was fucking genius. Obviously, he got fired because I guess it became really extreme. But what he did was, day one, they come into class. The desks are lined up differently. Everyone's assigned a desk. They sit down, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, what it turned into, he turned it into Nazi Germany, this professor. It was genius.
The way he did it. Slowly manipulated them all.
Slowly manipulating. And what he did at the end of the semester, showed them the video again and said every single one of you is that right now.
You've all been radicalized.
You've all been radicalized. They were ratting each other out, right? They see each other at clubs. They would go right to the professor. They created
savages
bands like you're with the blue band, you're with the red band. You know, they did it themselves. Yeah. The professor didn't do much.
Yep.
He just gave him the tiny little prod. And he ended up getting fired for it. But to me, I'm like, that was genius.
Human behavior, brother.
Yeah.
Human behavior never ceases to amaze me. You've seen the political I've seen them on both sides.
Yeah.
Where people would go and talk to, let's say, like a Bernie supporter or a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And they'd be like, well, what would you say if the president said X, Y, and Z and 1, 2, 3, ABC?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, he's fucking crazy. Like, why would he ever say that? He's a racist. And then they would turn, the speaker, whoever it was, would turn around and be like, well, it was actually your president.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I've seen those.
You've seen those,
I love them. I love them because they would. What's funny is like they would do a policy, right? They would show people policies that the person they're voting for did, and they'll look at the policy like, dude, this is awful.
Right.
I'm like, well, who did it? You know, left or right, whatever. They would give their answer, but it was the other guy. They're like, no, it's the guy you're voting for that put this policy
and they still
together.
Wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And they still wouldn't fucking believe it.
It cracks me up every time I saw that. But again, it shows lack of critical thinking.
But here you go, right? Like I would see these things and I'd be like, he's a PhD.
Yeah.
He's an expert.
Well, look at what the people we deal with day in and day out. I always say they're allowed to vote. And they're like, oh my God.
Look, you could be stupid and allowed to vote, right? This is what we're fighting for.
Yeah, but you know, it gets to a point. You're like, okay, dude, you got your hand stuck in a jar and you can't figure out to unfist and pull it out. You don't need to fucking.
I would have said ass, not jar, but
well, that happens too. But I tried to keep it a little PG. All right.
Leave it to Pete.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
savagery, dude. Guys,
all right.
This was an awesome episode, Ayman.
Yeah.
We really need people to think for themselves, right?
Absolutely.
We need to think for themselves. We need everybody to be safe.
Yes.
Project Sapient, again, everybody, thank you. A million thank yous for all your support. We want to thank our supporters, HavokJournal.com, GymJunkies.com, VectorShields.com. They have a podcast too.
Yes, they do.
WellnessForWarriors.live, LiveBoston617.org. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Check us out. YouTube, Project Sapient. Ayman.
Rock on.
See you guys later.